Okay, so you're probably past running through all the two-finger chords, just like playing that tune that I honestly don't like playing that much. It gets overplayed so much. But instead of using the two-finger chords that you learn very quickly on this instrument, okay, you have now graduated to play three-finger chords, okay? All chords are based out of closed chord positions. So here's what I would call a four-finger G. You've probably seen a lot of people playing this one. This is your basic bluegrass chop right here, okay? And out of this is born a three-finger chord. So you will see this played quite a lot. It's permissible, okay? And out of that is the two-finger chord that you first learn when you pick up this instrument. Okay, so you start out with a 2, you graduate to a 3, and then you try to work for the 4. All right, but they're all the same. So essentially what I'm going to do with this video is provide you context of why we play three-finger chords and how to get a good chop out of them. For a basic bluegrass chop, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to close off your open strings. And what I mean by that is that if you play a two-finger chord, an open chord, which means it has open strings right here, that guy's open and that guy's open, it's going to ring out and it's going to play quite a bit, just like I did just to start this video out, okay? But what we're looking for is a good chop, because there's a nice polite rhythm that just acts like a nice snare drum that you work with a guitar or you work with a bass, and everybody can follow along just fine. So how do we get that sound? Okay, the first thing you want to do is make sure you're playing a closed chord, which is why I'm going to show you the three-finger positions that every bluegrass mandolin player I've ever seen, they all use them to some degree. Okay, so to start, I'm going to start you off with a C. Now you know the two-finger C right here, and if you know my shorthand, you're going to play open, second, third, and open to play that C chord. Okay. Well, instead of playing O, 2, 3, O, now it's going to be a ring finger up here. Same fingers for the 2 and 3 in the middle. You're going to play the 5th up here with your ring. And you will have a little bit of an open string down there, but we're not going to play that open string, or we're going to mute it to some degree. Okay. So now you have a closed string, closed string, closed string. What I mean by that is that it's a fretted position, which means that I can kill the tone of that string whenever I feel like. So if I play and I were to take and fret them and hold them down, they'll ring. And they'll ring wonderfully and great. They're still going. Still going. There, they just stopped. Okay. Now, I can kill that anytime I want, because if I'm playing along and I just hold them down, it's quite obnoxious. So instead, you're going to learn how to, what a lot of musicians call a vamp, or just a basic chop rhythm. So what you're going to do, let's see if I can pull this up here, like that. There we go. Okay. Well, maybe not. What I'm going to do, maybe I can show you this way. Yeah, okay, that'll work. What I'm going to do with my fingers is I'm going to fret the note, and then I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to release pressure, so that way the string comes off the fret, but I don't take my finger off the string. And what that'll do is it'll kill the tone of that string. So instead of playing an open, fret that string and just let it ring out, I'm going to hit it, and then I'm going to take my finger and release it off the fret. But I haven't taken my finger off the string. And you start to do that with more fingers, and then all of a sudden you can get a chop. Now what you're going to do, it's going to feel like in your hand, you're going to feel like you are holding and releasing, holding and releasing. It's like, kind of like a grip, release, grip, release, grip, release. But don't take them off the string. Okay? You couple that in with a good rhythm, Mandolin's responsible for the chop rhythm, but you need to gauge it off of your time. So it's going to be a pick off the bass string, and then strum, and then release. Pick, strum, release. Pick, strum, release. And that's all the chop is. You don't need to overcomplicate it, okay? The trick to it is just making sure you get your chop right. Now, just as an aside, what happens to this open string down here? You've probably seen me use my pinky, and what I'm doing is that I'm not actually playing this note. Oops, sorry. Is that it's actually being killed, and it's being lost in the tone of the instrument. So I'm not fretting, but rather I'm just touching the string, and I'm just completely deadening that tone. So my other three are working just fine. And you don't even hear the first string down there, because technically that's not part of my chord. So it shouldn't be sounded anyway. Now I can use that E note in my 3-finger C chord if I want, and it sounds just fine. Okay, if I take and I move this position, this is one of your 2 positions that you need, and I were to slide this up 2 frets, so instead of being 5, 2, 3, now it's going to be 7, 4, 5 on the frets. There's a D chord. Okay, now back here to C, that open E string sounds good, because E is part of your C major triad. With a D, that E string down there sounds not so great. Now if I move it up 2 more to an E major chord, it sounds like it should, because E is part E major. But if I move up 1 more to an F major, now it just doesn't sound all that great again. Okay, so it's just better to just deaden that string if you can, or just don't play it at all. There's a trick to that. If you take your pick, and if I were to take and pull up instead of all the way down, you can miss that string on purpose. Okay, or there's another trick to it. You can take and you can use that as a brace or a guide string, and you just make sure you don't go through it. Okay, so that'll work just fine. So will that. 2 other tricks that you can use. Either one will work just fine. So just to give you a little practice, if I go 5, 2, 3 right here for a C major, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick, strum. Now I'm going to take this whole position, I'm going to move it up 2 frets to a D, and then I can move it up 2 more to an E. I can move it up 1 more to an F, and that's pretty much as far as you want to go, because 1 more will be, I'm sorry, 2 more frets will be a G, which isn't wrong, but this G down here is probably easier. Okay, so you can run the entire alphabet of all the rhythm chords that you need with just 2 positions. Your first one's going to be what I call the C position, 5, 2, 3. Now if I take and I were to move my ring finger down, keep it on the 5th fret, and I move my index finger down to the 2nd, there is a G double stop right in the middle. Okay, and you just need your middle finger up here on the 4th fret to play a G major chop chord. So there's your 3-finger chop chord right there. So instead of it being 5, 2, 3 across the frets, now it's 4, 5, 2. So this is the only 2nd position you actually need in order to play rhythm chop chords. Okay, watch. If I play a G, same exact rhythm in my pick, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick, strum. I can move up to an A in 2 frets, same exact finger position, and then I can move up 2 more to a B, 1 more to a C, and you're right back to where you started. Okay, so G, A, B, C, your low C, D, E, F, and you're done. Okay? You only need 2 positions. That one, your low G, and your low C. And then you just move them up and down the fretboard to figure out where you need your chop chords. The difficulty is going to be finding your chop chords quickly when you're playing tunes. Okay? Now, I've always used my forward fingers as my guide. So my eye is watching this finger right here because that is my lead finger, and I know to watch that fret marker for my 5th, and that's exactly where it is because I'm going to follow this finger with my eye, and these fingers are going to feel their way to where they need to be. So I know that's a C. If I need to go to an E major, I'm going to find the 9th fret right here, and my fingers go right where they need to. If you need to change positions, it's the same exact procedure. Okay, I use my middle finger as my eye guide, and then the rest of my fingers fall right into place. So I know there's my G. And if we play a lot of 1-4-5 tunes like we like to do, by the way, number system, make sure you brush up on that. I need to change to a C right there, and then I slide up 2 frets for a D, back to a G, and that's it. Okay? Do not overcomplicate basic rhythm. I know it says it's basic or that it's introductory rhythm, but just like anything else, it might take you 5 minutes to learn. It'll take you the rest of your life to master.